Hi, and welcome to the special edition of Inside Leesburg. We're on location today in probably one of the most prettiest parts of Lake County. We're coming to you from Venetian Gardens right here in Leesburg, and I have the pleasure of joining me, City Commissioner Jay Hurley. Thank you for coming on location with us.
Me come out today. Appreciate
Well,
it.
I know Venetian Gardens is very important to you in
It is.
regards to the whole renovation, the look, the feel of this park, and I mean, look at this backdrop. I know it's a gray, cloudy day, but you can't beat this view.
No, you can't. And it is a gray, cloudy day, but we do have a very bright project ahead of us that's going to make this park really transform back kind of to the jewel it used to be. I don't know if you remember, but a couple years back, I really started stressing to the community where the park used to be. When I came here back in the 80s, this area would be just crowded every weekend. You couldn't find a place to park. There'd be so many boats and people up on, the beach area here doing picnics and playing, and it was just really jam-packed with people having fun. And so we've really spent the last couple of years trying to get that energy going again with the community and start doing a revitalization of Venetian Gardens because it is the jewel of Leesburg. Some of the things that we realized we need to do is some major steps. So we've got 3 phases, and we're in phase 1 right now. Part of that, in order to make that happen, was we had to buy an apartment complex, and we're going to start the demolition on that. I think is set for August. So we had to buy that, which will make way for parking and for some shade covering, things of that nature. Then we'll go from that right into working on our splash pad for the children. So I'm excited about that. I mean, Tiberius has one, and it has proven to be a huge success.
And Claremont just opened theirs last week,
yes,
and I believe
I
it was.
forgot they did. And they're just a wonderful thing for the kids.
Right.
And so, we'll have the splash pad here, which we need the community's input on that. And I know
my ideas.
Come on,
I'm picturing St. Mark's Square. I'm picturing gondoliers. I'm picturing, a great sort of Italian theme.
Venetian Gardens. I get it.
Right?
Yeah,
Makes sense, right?
And we need your ideas, and we need the community's ideas to come out here and help us as we start getting the theme for that, because it would be awesome if we could take that same theme and then, let that go straight from the splash pad right into the park, because we're redoing the playground area as well. We're putting in new pavilions. As you know, we have, I think, 5 pavilions now throughout the park, and they must have been bought about 10 years apart.
They don't match, do they?
None of them match. They look terrible.
Any idea what the pavilions and new pavilions are going to look like? Any plans?
We were presented with a couple of ideas a couple commission meetings ago, and we're trying to stick with kind of like, we're putting in a new fence along the front instead of just that ugly railing that goes along the roadway.
Yeah, it's very utilitarian looking.
Exactly. And so what we're doing is some nice brick columns with wrought iron between them. So we're looking maybe to try to find something that would flow with that. But it's critical that we have something that flows with what might come out with a little Italy splash pad.
Well, and I think that whole brick thing will be a nice connection with Main Street, with the whole renovation.
What we took it off of. We're going to do new signs to, welcome as you come into Leesburg. So we're really just trying to get something that would flow throughout the community that we could use pretty consistently. If you already look downtown, we have the brick thing going on downtown, as you know.
Right.
So there's a lot of benefits there. But here, when we get, phase 1 done, we should have the new pavilions, not only replacing some of the old ones, but in this area along Ski Beach, we're going to do some pavilions here so people can come out, have some picnics. We're going to do some a little bit larger, I think, so that if birthday parties or a church group wanted to come out, put some shade covering out here and some landscaping. So, I mean, there's just so much, and the ideas are flowing from everybody because it's very exciting what possibilities are here. If somebody were to come in here and let's say, going back to what your idea was, but if we had
my idea.
I do. You had some good ones. You need to come up and speak. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of opportunity here. In long range, I think you're going to look back here and laugh because we're going to have restaurants and maybe somebody that rents kayaks and canoes and jet skis and just really start bringing activity back to the park. And that's what it's about, quality of life. If you live in Leesburg and you have one of the most beautiful spots in Central Florida, why would you not want to be able to come down here and take advantage of that and be able to just enjoy what's in your backyard?
That's phase 1. How about phase 2 and phase 3? Because you said there's 3 phases, right?
There are. Now, those phases are going to get into some more substantial funding, and that's why they're pushed back a little bit.
Okay.
That's where we'll start speaking about our swimming pool, the community center. We're definitely going to be spending some money, but we can do several things. When we start talking about replacing the apartment complex we had to purchase, and the fences, and the splash pad, and the playground, the pavilions, landscaping, the fountain that's there. It used to be a big draw to a lot of people. So we're doing a lot of projects now. But when we get to phase 2 and phase 3, those are going to be kind of like one project is going to wipe us out for a couple of years funding wise.
What was I going to say in regards to, you look at Tavares, you look at Mount Dora, all these downtowns are pretty much close proximity to the water. I mean, what can we do? What are the commissioners thinking in regards to how can we connect Main Street, which is going through, we'll be taking a look at Main Street here shortly at the remainder of the show, but I'm just kind of curious in the sense of connecting downtown with the waterway to get some more of that traffic.
And it is. I mean, it would be wonderful if Dixie was actually Main Street and everything was right here on the water. That would have been perfect, but it's not. So we have taken some steps in the last year. The community actually even expressed some interest in being able to connect the two. So one of the things we did was we passed a golf cart ordinance so that, you can, if you live and you don't have to cross a state road, you can drive your golf carts downtown, or you can drive them to Venetian Gardens or commute from the gardens to downtown for events. We've purchased some property that's going to start bringing Main Street a little closer, if you will, with some of the activities that we're going to have. So there's going to be a little passage of interest, I think, that between here and where the pool could possibly be, and as you work your way up, maybe 5th Street or 7th, something like that.
Right.
So yeah, you're going to see a lot more activity, I think, drawing down here and then moving the two together once we get all this in place.
Now, you said when you came here in the 80s, and this was such a vibrant location, what do you think happened over the years in the sense of what happened to Venetian Gardens that we kind of lost that sort of vibrancy?
Well, that's a big question to ask a politician in my shoes, because I took a lot of heat on that. I have my own reasons that I think it did it. But honestly, we did some changes. We built a marina. And one of the things that happened is we reduced the wake zone here. So I would be here playing volleyball, and then you'd see a boat pull up onto the shore, and you could just run over, and you didn't even know who they were, but you'd say, hey, can you take me around? And boaters would just let you, take a couple laps around on the skis or a knee board or the wakeboard or something of that nature. And so it really was a community atmosphere. I mean, you didn't have to know whose boat you were on. You didn't have to know everybody. Everybody just wanted to have a lot of fun.
Right, it's a community.
Boaters wanted to stay out in the water, but people that, didn't have one could do it. So it worked together, and it was a great community effort. Everybody was grilling and picnicking up and down here. And it truly was a time when you could not find a parking space. You would literally pull in, come up and down, trying to figure out where you could park. So, there was just several steps, I think. And then when the economy started going down in 2008, the city was forced to make some serious cuts. We really were, because of financial reasons. And so we started cutting areas like Parks and Rec, we stopped maintaining a lot of things. And so as a result of a few different situations, I think the park just lost its glitter, and I think people just quit coming down. Now we're trying to get that going again.
I hope it does come back, because it is just, like I said, it's truly, like as you described it, one of the gems of Lake County. And, I come down here and walk once in a while after work, and it's just the ambiance, the bridges, the walkways, it's beautiful.
We've had 2 days where the community actually came out here and did a work day. I mean, they cleaned out the canals that you can go through, and there's some beautiful canals to take kayaks and canoes through. Small boats can go through there as well. We've had those dredged out a few years back. And as well, we've had some tree trimming guys that came in and started raising the umbrella a little bit. So as you look through the park, you can see all the way through to the beauty of the water. And there's just a lot of activities.
So these bridges here at Venetian Gardens, are these relatively new?
Yes, they're a year old. We just replaced them. The other ones were really in dire need of repair, and so we spent about $300,000 and had them replaced just last year. They're wide enough, obviously, you can see for golf carts to go across, and still somebody stand and fish if everybody's being careful.
Now, how about the plans? There is a community center here, but are there plans for another community center in the future, a new and revised one?
I mean, I personally have been, to me, a community center is just critical for every community. It's kind of like your identifier almost, if you will. In our community center, it was the library at one time, and so now I don't know really how it became the community center, but it's horrible. I mean, it's old, it's antiquated, it's outdated for sure. And it sits on the roadway. When you're in there, you hear all the traffic. And then our parking lot is down on the water, and it needs to be flipped. The building should sit down on the water so that you can enjoy the beauty of it, and the parking lot should be on the road. So there's a lot of avenues, and I know it'll bring a lot of discussion because anytime you talk about something, but that's what we want. I mean, it's the community's building, it's the community's park, and it's the community's money. So at the end of the day, we just ask for input, and we make the best decisions that we know how and go from there.
And that pool, I understand there's talks of a new pool too, is that true?
We do. Getting into 3 phases that we had talked about earlier, I mean, that would be phase 2. Hopefully we'd be able to replace the pool. And we've had discussions of where that could go because, you want to make it work, not only just as far as a location, but where you can get some other activity around the pool. We have things going on when they're taking lessons, maybe while they're taking lessons and it's their time out of the pool, they could do something else. So finding a location for the pool, and then it's going to be very expensive. I'm telling you, I mean, that is a cost and a half. But when you look at what the swimming pool provides for the students, the high school competitions, plus just recreation in the summertime. I mean, you're a kid in Florida, you should be able to have a place that you can go swim.
Now, we can't forget, I mean, one of the other parts of Venetian Gardens, which is, of course, has a lot of history in Florida when it comes to baseball, is Pat Thomas Stadium.
Pat Thomas does have a lot of history, and it is a bright spot in Leesburg. We've been very fortunate with the Leesburg Lightning. We had a couple of people that played a key role in that. One was John Brandyberg, who passed away last year, and Chuck Johnson. And they have brought a tremendous program to Leesburg residents. And not only is it something that you can do for free and is just one of the American pastimes, baseball and apple pie, but it is a winning team. I mean, our teams have been phenomenal every year. So, yeah, I mean, there's just so much great stuff that's happening here, and I'm excited that it's taking place, and I'm getting to be a big part of it.
It was really exciting because I know Lakefront TV, we were their media partner last year, and the Korean games, I mean, the Korean players come in. It was awesome,
Yes, they were neat. Yeah.
And the big joke was not only is it free, but the food there at the ballpark was actually really, really good.
Blues Club does a great job. They really do.
It's a really good thing. Well, listen, don't go anywhere because I know we kind of highlighted Venetian Gardens, but I'm going to steal you away. We're going to head down to Main Street, if you don't mind.
That's good.
Sounds good. When we come back, we're heading to Main Street, downtown Leesburg, with City Commissioner Jay Hurley. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Leesburg. If you're just joining us, we have City Commissioner Jay Hurley joining us for sort of a quarterly update in regards to, we just took a look at Venetian Gardens, and now we're on Main Street, Leesburg, and it looks like you're getting pretty close to being done, Jay.
We are, I mean, 2 of the big projects that are taking place right now in the city of Leesburg that are not only going to have a huge impact as far as on the community and as far as helping us with our beautification process, but it's going to have a big wow factor, I think, for the residents that live here. Something that they can be proud of. When you pull up, you're going to be like, this is my town. I mean, this is my downtown, this is my Main Street, this is my garden. And so, yeah, I am excited. Bike Week is coming up. We're only about a month away from that, approximately.
Quickly.
Somewhere. Yeah. And so we're really pressing hard trying to get this done in time for Bike Week. Right now, that's our main drive. But I think we're pretty much on schedule as far as things go, weather pending and God's help. We're crossing our fingers. If we don't have a lot of rain delays, we are in really good shape to be 90% done. The paving will be done, and I'm glad you brought that up for Bike Weeks because there are a few things we'd like to point out that's going to be important during Bike Week. Yeah. We're going to have fresh asphalt that has just been laid, that top level. Right. And so one of the things we're doing right down from 12th Street all the way to Euclid, we're going to cut some plywood strips that'll be in the middle so that the bikers can actually park in the middle of the roadway and have a place for their kickstands to go down so that they don't sink down. A, we don't want to have to come out and repair the asphalt, but B, we sure don't want to have an issue with a biker that brings his bike over, and because the pavement is hot on a hot sunny day in Florida and the kickstands are narrow, the bikes are heavy, we just don't want to have any issues. So we're going to put that little 12-inch strip of plywood, and we're also going to be giving out little disc of plywood that a biker can slide underneath his kickstand when he's out here. And so, thankfully, the partnership and some of the other volunteer groups are going to help us make sure that everything's well with the bikers and with Main Street. Now, having said that, back to what you're asking though, yes, landscaping is going in. I mean, we've already got the water. We're just waiting for our final inspection on that. Stormwater is done. Electric's done. I mean, if you start going down the list of things that we had to do, We did some major, everything from fiber optics, electric, water, gas, wastewater, stormwater. That's all been done. The curbing's in now.
And the light posts, I love the
light
light posts.
Isn't that beautiful how they're going to blend in and our columns are going to be down? Every intersection is still going to have actual brick pavers. We did go with the real brick on the intersections for the crosswalks. And so, you know, we did, if you look down Main Street, you'll see how this is a parking area here, but it doesn't go all the way down. So the trees will be here in these flower beds, and then as you get over there, there's a parking. And so what we've done is we've staggered the parking so that the trees can be further out and create a canopy as you come down Main Street. So from the approach ride, it'll be fully covered with trees, and the canopy is going to be beautiful. And it really is. I mean, it's going to make a big wow factor for people coming to visit our community.
I'm excited.
I am too, exactly.
How does it make you feel? I know this has been very passionate to you in regards to this whole kind of rebranding of Main Street and the Venetian Gardens. To see all this stuff come into fruition.
Oh, it is exciting for me. I mean, you know, we have a great community, and the citizens have been wanting to do this. You know, a lot of times it's just trying to get the conversation started, get people talking about it, and finding the avenues to get the funds. And so we just, you know, we put on our thinking caps. We kind of started going outside the box, if you will. And between, you know, a new commission that was eager to start reinvesting in itself, because you can cut, but you have to reinvest in yourself. And anybody who's in business understands there's a fine line between cutting too far and then investing in yourself so you can be successful. And we're talking about quality of life, so people live here, they enjoy it, they want to stay. We're talking about economic development, bringing in. And so if you're run down and you haven't worked on your blight and you haven't really started taking advantage of your CRA funds and you're not pulling money from your different utilities to do improvements that are needed, you're literally just doing yourself a disservice. Now we're doing some things that are exciting, that are bright for us. And I think, you know, a lot of people are worried, concerned, but you just wait 6 months from now when they start seeing it and they start coming down here, they're going to pull up to the intersections and be proud that this is their Main Street, this is the gateway to their downtown.
Well, I know we're all at Lakefront TV very excited about starting to profile, especially when we rebrand this, to be able to introduce the new Main Street to all the viewers in Lake County and surrounding counties.
Yeah.
Because I think if we could share the message and bring people in and let people know, be proud of what the new look is going to be, and all the new businesses that are coming to Main Street already. We have Sips, we have the new herb shop, we have Canine Kitchen. I think there's a couple other restaurants that are specced out.
There's a small little mall now down there that was got like 9 shops inside it, and I think they're all full to capacity. So yes, we're getting that buzz back, and you know, and people can say what they want as far as the crowd, but people come whether you want it or not to Florida, and the Villages has just grown and grown and grown. And now they're literally closing right in on our border. So, you know, with Brownwood coming up 44 and with the park that's expanding into Fruitland Park, we're going to have a lot of people coming down that are going to want a quaint downtown. They're going to want another place to go besides their own little squares in the Villages. And I think that we're really in prime position right now to be able to take care of that need.
There's a recent magazine that was brought to my attention online that I think Leesburg was like one of the top 10 cities, good places to retire, which I think is great.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I can use that in commission meeting next week. But it is a great city, and Leesburg has been a great community, and it was the #1 community when I moved here. And I think that was what I found so disturbing. When I looked around and saw communities that were passing us in quality of life, in appeal for economic development, that bothered me. And I'll tell you why it bothered me, because we were already ahead, and we had so many things here that other cities didn't have that would help us be successful. So when you have things like an airport and a college and your own electric utilities and all the things that we have, and then you have a city that has none of those things surpassing you, that doesn't make sense. No. And so for me to be able to say, hey, we finally put the focus back where it should be, we're trying to take over and become the city that we once were in Lake County, hey, we should be #1 in Lake County.
And the partnership, the Leesburg partnership, I mean, talk about, I moved here several years ago from the Northeast, and to have a partnership, a team of people that really want to bring the community together and connect the community in the sense of the Friday night food truck and a flick night, or flick and a food truck, I guess whatever's more important to you.
Movie nights,
which is great, right? And then they have the Saturday morning market, I mean, the Bike Fest, the Mardi Gras. I mean, it seems like every weekend.
Even 4th of July. The Christmas parade and the strolls they have downtown. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of things that are going on downtown. And I'll be very honest with you. I mean, right now, those things would not be taking place, a large part of them, and the ones that would be going on would not be going to the scale that they are now because of Joe Shipes and the Leesburg partnership, what they bring to the table to help us out. You know, all those things cost money and they take volunteers. And you know, if you were to walk up to somebody and say, hey, the city of Leesburg is looking for a bunch of volunteers to go out and to help us have a parade, you don't get much help because people think in the role of city government, you can do it yourself. That's what we pay taxes for. Here, because it's a nonprofit organization that's just passionate about their community and wants to have quality of life for their residents, people love to be a part of it. And you know what? A lot of hard work goes in, but at the end of every event, you look at those volunteers, and while they're tired, they're very happy, and there's a sense of accomplishment that we did something great for the community. So my hat's off to them. I support them. I take heat from that once in a while, but that's a heat I'm proud to take.
Well, you know, the whole idea of this half hour, because I know we're running out of time here shortly, but in the sense of we talked about Venetian Gardens, Main Street update, any other topics, things that you'd like to update, connect our community with the local government that you'd like to talk about or let them know what's taking place?
Well, I mean, I think something that you've started seeing a little buzz too is, you know, if you go out on the east end of town, we have the Lake Square Mall out there, and they changed hands a couple times. They're doing some big improvements that you're going to see too that I hope will bring in some additional businesses to the mall, maybe some name brands that are a little more attracting to the residents and to people coming back into the city because, hey, if you don't have to drive to Orlando, you can drive to Leesburg and go to the mall. Then while you're here, you're going to do other things. You're going to go to our restaurants, you're going to buy our gas, you're going to visit some of our other shops. So, you know, we have a company in there from Turkey right now that is doing some real nice investing in remodeling the outside and the inside, as well as putting forth a big effort in working with our city staff to get in some names that will, you know, I think people are going to be very happy with. That's a big thing. We have, you know, some big companies coming in down south. Our 470 projects are finally taking off, and you know, we brought in Mike Rankin a few months back in our economic development aspect, and now he's working not only with that, but as a assistant city manager and a lot of experience where he came from. And so, yeah, we have some great momentum, and I'm excited about it. I mean, Leesburg's got some good things going on.
Commissioner Hurley, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so
Dr.
much for
Emery.
spending the half hour with us.
Absolutely.
We hope you enjoyed this half hour edition of Inside Leesburg. If you'd like more information, be sure to check out lakefronttv.com. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, get out there and enjoy your hometown. So what do you think? Want to go grab some lunch? Or what do you think? Blooms?
Let's go.
Where do you think we should go? What do you think we should do? Come on, we're just going to walk off.
Where can we get the biggest bang for our buck? Where can we get the most people talking?